In the previous episode, we explored the fascinating concept of angels and higher density beings, those who have transcended the physical limitations we face on Earth. Today, we're going to shift our focus and dive deep into the other side of the spiritual spectrum, the negative path, demonic entities, and the creation of negative social memory complexes. While we spend time discussing the light, it's essential to understand the dark as well, as it's through contrast that we truly begin to understand the nature of polarity and spiritual evolution. This episode will uncover the processes that lead to the formation of demons and how their influence works within the greater cosmic order. To fully grasp the concepts we'll be covering today, I encourage you to revisit our earlier discussions on the dynamics of polarity. Understanding the path of service to others and the evolution of higher density beings is crucial in recognizing how the negative path operates. Polarity, after all, is not simply a cosmic game of light versus dark, but a deeper understanding of the energetic flow that shapes the universe. The negative path is not about the triumph of evil, but rather about the exercise of free will in ways that lead to fragmentation and separation. We'll be discussing how the choices of an entity seeking to follow the service to self path eventually create entities that manifest as demons, existing far outside the light, bound by a distorted sense of self-empowerment. As we navigate through the process of becoming a demon, we'll also discuss some well-known historical figures who exemplify these negative characteristics, individuals who move beyond the light and embrace the path of tyranny, control, and enslavement. People like Grigory Rasputin and Genghis Khan achieved a level of negative polarity that resonates in the ether of our history, showing us how these dynamics can manifest in the physical realm. However, what's crucial to understand is that demons, while often misunderstood in religious contexts, are not supernatural beings, but rather highly evolved negative entities that exist in fourth density. This episode will explore the reality of their existence and how they communicate, manipulate, and draw followers into their dark ways. It's essential to recognize the limits of negative evolution as we move through today's discussion. The negative path, though powerful, is ultimately unsustainable. At a certain point, even the most committed service to self entities must face spiritual entropy, as their path becomes increasingly unstable. We'll take a look at how negative beings, despite their strength in manipulation and control, are inevitably drawn toward the light as they reach higher densities. This concept of entropy will challenge your perceptions of good versus evil, as it shows us that even darkness is part of the Creator's grand design. The ultimate truth is that all beings, no matter how far they stray, are bound to return to unity. This episode is not just about understanding the negative path. It's also about recognizing how these entities and their social memory complexes operate within the larger spiritual context. It's about understanding that the contrast between light and dark, good and evil, serves a greater purpose in the evolution of consciousness. Stay tuned as we explore how the negative path works, the role of demonic possession, and how the process of spiritual warfare is waged, not through force, but through love and understanding. Chapter 1. The process of becoming a demon. To understand how a being can graduate to fourth density negative and become what we commonly refer to as a demon, we must first understand the process of negative polarization. The road to this state is rare and incredibly difficult, as it requires the complete dedication to service to self. A being must be at least 95% service to self in order to evolve into a fourth density negative entity. This means that their every action, thought, and decision must revolve around the complete negation of unity, love, and compassion. It is a path that abandons the green ray energy center, our heart chakra, choosing instead to focus on control, manipulation, and personal gain. This complete disregard for love results in a being whose aura is completely devoid of green ray energy, leaving them hypersensitive to the very light they so violently oppose. We can look at figures like Grigory Rasputin and Genghis Khan as prime examples of individuals who embodied the service-to-self path in extreme ways. Rasputin, for example, was known for his dark magic, deceit, and manipulation, creating a toxic web of control within the Russian royal family. His ability to manipulate and influence those around him without compassion or empathy was a manifestation of negative polarization, enabling him to gain power through fear and manipulation. Similarly, Genghis Khan, with his ruthless conquering, genocide, and enslavement, showcased the ultimate expression of power through dominance. Both of these figures achieved a level of negative evolution that echoes through history, demonstrating the force of this path. However, there's a critical distinction here that many overlook. Demons do not simply grow in strength through force alone. Their evolution bypasses the green ray chakra, or heart center, which is the gateway to unity and unconditional love. Instead, they evolve through the manipulation of wisdom, blue ray, and control, red/orange/yellow rays. The more they focus on controlling others, the more they increase their polarization. Yet this comes at a tremendous cost. Their lack of love makes them deeply vulnerable to light, unable to bear the energetic frequencies that positive entities naturally radiate. This hypersensitivity to love is what keeps them from ever truly experiencing unity and fulfillment. Demons, or negative entities, typically don't appear as monstrous or grotesque figures, contrary to popular depictions in religious texts. They are, in fact, often quite beautiful, manifesting their light bodies in ways that are alluring and powerful. Vanity is highly valued in their evolution, and so they manipulate their appearance to invoke fascination and admiration. When we think of characters like Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Maleficent, we get a glimpse into how negative entities manipulate their form, presenting themselves as powerful and seductive, drawing others into their grasp with charm and allure. Their beauty serves as a tool, a way to capture attention and further their control, all while masking the true malevolent intent beneath their outer appearance. As we explore the process of becoming a demon, it's essential to recognize that this path is not about eternal victory. Negative beings may grow stronger and more influential as they manipulate others, but they are ultimately bound to collapse under the weight of their own separation and spiritual entropy. The internal discord of their own systems, along with the eventual exhaustion of maintaining such an unsustainable path, ensures that even the most powerful negative entities will eventually be forced to confront the reality of their existence. Their power is short-lived, and the cost of such evolution is always high, requiring a complete abandonment of the core principles of love and unity that are essential to the Creator's nature. Chapter 2. The Limits of Negative Evolution. The negative path, while alluring and seemingly powerful in the early stages of spiritual evolution, ultimately faces inherent limitations that make it unsustainable beyond a certain point. The idea that negative beings can continue to grow in power indefinitely is a misconception. The truth is, negative entities are bound by spiritual entropy, which arises from the disharmony, separation, and destruction they cultivate within themselves. This path, built upon the foundation of ego, control, and isolation, cannot last in the long term because it directly opposes the fundamental nature of the Creator, which is unity, love, and harmony. It is only a matter of time before the energy required to sustain this path becomes too unstable, forcing even the most dedicated service-to-self entities to face an eventual crossroads. In the Law of One, Ra explains that after the fifth density, Beings who remain committed to the negative path face an unavoidable choice. Without love to balance their wisdom and power, they cannot continue to evolve. Ra specifically states that after 5th density graduation, further wisdom must be matched with an equal amount of love. This means that even the most advanced negative entities, upon reaching a certain threshold of evolution, are forced to confront the limitations of their chosen path. The negative path, despite its seeming dominance, cannot carry them forward indefinitely. At some point, the imbalance between wisdom and love becomes too great, leading to a reversal of polarity, forcing them to choose the path of unity or stagnation. This requirement for love is not a choice, but a cosmic law woven into the fabric of universal evolution. The universe, at its core, is built upon the principles of love and light. No entity, no matter how advanced or how polarized toward negativity, can fully escape these laws. Even the most deeply committed demons must eventually face the reality that their path is unsustainable. It's like trying to run a car on fuel that has already run out. The engine may keep sputtering for a while, but eventually, it will cease to function. Similarly, negative entities reach a point where their energy becomes so fragmented that they cannot continue to evolve unless they embrace the very thing they've denied: unity and love. What's remarkable about this process is that it serves a profound cosmic purpose. The negative path provides an essential contrast to the positive path, illustrating the extremes of separation and control. By experiencing the negative path, positive entities gain a deeper understanding of unity and love. This duality is not a mistake. It is part of the Creator's design. The Creator, in its infinite wisdom, experiences itself through both light and darkness, allowing all beings to learn from these polarities. The existence of negative entities and their path of disharmony serves as a powerful teaching tool for the entire universe, helping us to appreciate the value of unity and love in a way we might not fully grasp without such contrast. In the grand scheme of things, the ultimate lesson from negative entities is the realization that love is the most powerful force in the universe. Despite their strength and cunning, negative beings are always on borrowed time. Their path leads them to a dead end, where they are forced to choose between continuing their cycle of separation or embracing unity and love. The universe, with its infinite wisdom, ensures that no entity, no matter how negative, can remain separated from the Creator forever. So, while the negative path may seem powerful in the short term, it is always doomed to collapse under the weight of its own inherent instability. Chapter 3: Demonic Entities and Their Influence. When we discuss demonic entities, it's crucial to move beyond the traditional image of monstrous, supernatural beings with horns and grotesque features. In reality, demons are not separate from the fabric of existence. They are highly evolved negative entities that have chosen the path of service to self. These beings, born from the depths of 4th density negative evolution, actively seek to manipulate others to further their own agendas. They do not exist in isolation. They draw followers, influence weaker minds, and thrive in environments where control and fear reign. While they may be feared in religious texts and cultural stories, their true nature is rooted in spiritual entropy and the fragmentation of unity. Demonic entities are not inherently monstrous in appearance. In fact, they can appear incredibly alluring and captivating, as their ability to manipulate their light bodies makes them visually striking. Their beauty and allure are tools they use to gain followers and maintain power. Vanity, appearance, and the desire for admiration are central to their evolution. A more accurate depiction of a demon would not be the horrifying creature with fangs and claws, but someone who radiates power, charm, and mystery. similar to how Maleficent, played by Angelina Jolie, captivates with her enigmatic beauty and control. Their appearances are designed to seduce, drawing individuals in with the promise of power and influence. Yet beneath the surface lies manipulation and control. What many don't realize is that demons can communicate in much the same way as higher density beings do. They can channel their thoughts and intentions into the minds of those who are open to them, guiding followers to further polarize toward the service to self path. Ra states that these demonic entities will answer the calling of any individual seeking aid in the pursuit of negative understanding. Whether through rituals of dark magic or personal moments of weakness, demons offer a distorted form of wisdom, one that feeds on fear, separation, and the desire for power. They are not interested in love or unity, but rather in how they can twist minds and maintain control over those who allow themselves to be influenced. The misconception that demons are all-powerful, untouchable beings is not only misleading, but disempowering. While they may seem overwhelmingly powerful, they are ultimately limited by their own nature. Their power is built on domination, manipulation, and fear, which makes them fragile in the face of love and light. Positive entities, operating from the principle of unity and service to others, hold an inherent advantage. They don't need to engage in direct battle with demons. Instead, they neutralize their influence by simply embodying love and compassion. By refusing to respond to negative entities with fear, hatred, or aggression, positive beings diminish their power, dissolving their influence in an instant. The power of love is their greatest defense. Understanding the true nature of demonic entities shifts the way we interact with negativity in our lives. These beings are not to be feared. They are merely reflections of the path we choose not to take. They represent the consequences of isolation, control, and separation from the source. By recognizing them as beings lost in their own pain and suffering, we can choose to respond not with fear, but with compassion. In doing so, we not only disempower their influence over us, but also help to heal the wounds that led them down the path of darkness. In the next segment, we'll explore the concept of negative social memory complexes and the hierarchy of demons, shedding light on how these entities operate within larger collective systems of control. Chapter 4: Negative Social Memory Complexes, the Hierarchy of Demons. Negative social memory complexes operate very differently from their positive counterparts, which are united by love, unity, and collective service. Instead of harmony, negative complexes thrive on tyranny, control, and subjugation. These complexes form when a dominant entity, typically a fourth or fifth density negative being, begins to enslave lesser polarized entities, forcing them into service to further the service to self path. In these complexes, the strongest entity is revered, both feared and envied by those beneath it. The followers gain knowledge and further their polarization by serving the master, but the true power remains with the dominant entity, who manipulates the complex for personal gain. This dynamic mirrors the hierarchical structure seen in many forms of tyranny throughout human history. The hierarchy within a negative social memory complex often involves a master-servant relationship, where the master's power is continually reinforced by the fear, loyalty, and service of their followers. Those at the top are adept at using their power to manipulate and control, while those at the bottom are often caught in a cycle of dependency, striving to gain favor and power themselves. Internal power struggles are common in these complexes, as weaker entities attempt to overthrow their superiors, hoping to ascend the hierarchy. However, this constant infighting and betrayal weaken the complex over time. As we see in history, empires built on fear and control eventually collapse, and so too do these negative collectives. The breakdown of such complexes is inevitable, as the energy of control and fear cannot sustain itself in the long term. Religious texts have often referred to these negative social memory complexes, albeit in distorted forms. In the Bible, the term legion is used to describe the collective presence of demonic entities, symbolizing the power of a large, organized group of negative beings. In the Gospel of Mark, a demon-possessed man declares, "My name is Legion, for we are many," which reflects the way in which negative entities work together to create a unified force. This passage represents the dynamic within a negative social memory complex. Many lesser entities acting in service to a singular, dominating power. Despite the outward display of unity, the internal strife and entropy of these complexes prevent them from achieving long-term stability. The purpose of these complexes is not simply domination, but the preservation of power and the continual amplification of the master's control. Negative entities do not seek cooperation or unity, but rather manipulate and enslave others to further their own agenda. This creates an environment where genuine connection is absent and power is maintained through fear, deceit, and manipulation. The leaders of these complexes must constantly reinforce their dominance, as any sign of weakness could trigger an uprising. This makes the negative path much harder to sustain, as the energy required to maintain such control is vast and ultimately unsustainable. The collapse of these complexes, much like the fall of tyrannical regimes, is inevitable. Understanding the dynamics of negative social memory complexes allows us to see how deeply ingrained the principles of control, fear, and separation are in the negative path. These complexes function as a reflection of the darkness within the collective psyche, showing us what happens when love and unity are abandoned for power and control. However, they also serve a greater purpose. They highlight the importance of unity, love, and collective service. By recognizing the limitations of negative evolution, we can better understand the importance of choosing the positive path and avoiding the pitfalls of division and fear. Up next, we'll explore the mechanics of demonic possession and how these entities manipulate their victims. Chapter 5. Demonic Possession. How it actually works. Demonic possession is often depicted in horror films and religious narratives as an overt, external force that controls a person's actions. However, the reality of possession, as described in the Law of One, is far more subtle and insidious. Demons do not simply enter a person's body in a traditional sense, as often depicted in popular culture. Instead, they work by manipulating existing distortions and imbalances within a person's consciousness. This means that demons do not create these weaknesses, but rather take advantage of the vulnerabilities that already exist, be it fear, anger, trauma, depression, or addiction. They latch onto these emotional or psychological cracks, gradually planting thoughts that cause further disturbance and emotional distress. When a demon seeks to influence a person, it first scans their mind for weaknesses, looking for points of entry that can lead to further manipulation. These points of entry are typically areas where the person has unresolved emotional pain or psychological trauma. For instance, someone struggling with deep-seated fear or past trauma may be more susceptible to demonic influence, as the demon feeds on these feelings of helplessness and vulnerability. The demon's influence is not immediate, but builds over time, with thoughts and impulses gradually taking root within the person's mind. These thoughts often begin as small whispers or intrusive ideas, but as the demon gains a stronger foothold, it amplifies these thoughts, leading to feelings of intense inner conflict and psychological torment. Unlike what is commonly portrayed, demons do not fully inhabit a person's body in a physical sense. Instead, they anchor a point of influence within the person's mind, creating a kind of psychic tether that allows them to return whenever they wish. This point of influence may feel like an overwhelming presence, one that manipulates the person's thoughts and emotions from within, but is not a possession in the sense of controlling physical actions. The person does not lose all autonomy. Instead, they become increasingly disturbed by the negative thoughts, impulses, and emotions that seem to arise from nowhere. This often leads to a feeling of being trapped in one's own mind, experiencing a gradual loss of mental clarity and peace. In some cases, this kind of influence can extend beyond the individual, affecting the space around them. Negative events, such as violence, murder, or extreme suffering, can leave energetic imprints on a location, creating a kind of haunted space. These imprints attract negative entities, making it easier for them to influence those who enter that space. For example, a person who is already vulnerable may find themselves more susceptible to demonic influence if they visit a place charged with negative energy. These entities thrive in environments filled with fear, anger, and distress, making it important to recognize and cleanse spaces that may harbor this kind of energy. The real danger of demonic possession lies not in the physical control of the body, but in the psychological and emotional torment it causes. The person feels trapped, unable to escape the dark thoughts and compulsions that invade their mind. The true power of these negative entities lies in their ability to manipulate perception, turning the individual's inner world into a battleground of emotional and psychological pain. This is why spiritual cleansing and healing practices are so important in these situations. Rather than focusing on expelling a demon in a traditional sense, healing through love, light, and compassion offers a more lasting solution. By healing the emotional wounds and distortions within the individual, the influence of the demon is naturally weakened, allowing the person to regain their autonomy and peace of mind. Chapter 6. The Power of Love as Protection Against Demonic Influence. One of the most powerful tools against demonic influence is something often overlooked: love. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that to combat negativity, we need to engage with it directly, fighting fire with fire. However, the law of one teaches us that this approach only strengthens the very forces we wish to repel. Negative entities, whether demons or lower density beings, feed off fear, anger, and aggression. These emotions empower them, allowing them to manipulate and control. In contrast, love acts as a natural deterrent, because it vibrates at a frequency that is entirely incompatible with their energy. When we send love to a negative entity, we are essentially weakening it, causing it to retreat. Ra provides clear guidance on dealing with negative entities. Offer love and light to the entity. This simple yet profound advice reveals the true strength of love. By responding to negative influences with compassion and understanding, we disarm them. This doesn't mean engaging with the entity or offering forgiveness to its actions, but rather sending love into the situation, creating a barrier of light that they cannot cross. When we respond with fear or hostility, we align ourselves with the negative energy, reinforcing its power. But when we send love, we reinforce the universal laws of light, naturally repelling negativity. This is why positive beings, such as angels or higher density entities, never engage in battle. They understand that love is the most powerful force in the universe. The process of offering love and light is not just about sending positive energy to others, but also about maintaining our own alignment with peace and unity. When we find ourselves facing negativity, whether through psychic attacks, dark magic, or interpersonal conflict, it's vital to remain centered in our own heart. Practicing self-love, compassion, and inner peace fortifies our ability to act as a shield against external negativity. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by negative energy, take a moment to close your eyes, breathe deeply and envision a bright light expanding from your heart. This light can form a protective aura around you, one that repels negativity and aligns you with the frequencies of love and unity. In this way, love becomes both a weapon and a shield. There's a powerful real-world example that highlights the effectiveness of this approach. In a spiritual gathering, a woman became violently thrashing and screaming, clearly under the influence of what appeared to be demonic possession. The ministers and pastors involved spent hours trying to expel the entity through aggressive prayers and forceful actions. However, their approach, driven by fear and resistance, only strengthened the entity's grip on her. Had they taken a different approach, one rooted in love, calm, and compassion, the demon would have been instantly disempowered. This highlights the importance of approaching negative situations with the right energy. Fighting negativity with fear or aggression only fuels it, whereas offering love can neutralize it completely. Ultimately, the power of love is not just a defensive mechanism. It is the most potent form of spiritual offense. By embodying love, we not only protect ourselves from negative influences, but also contribute to the healing of the greater collective. Love dissolves the darkness, it heals wounds, and it restores balance. In situations where negativity seems overwhelming, remember that your love is more powerful than any force of opposition. When we act from a place of love, we reconnect with the Creator, and that connection is impenetrable by any lower energy. As we continue, we will explore how spiritual lessons from the negative path ultimately lead us back to unity, showing us how even darkness serves the greater purpose of the Creator. Chapter 7. Spiritual Lessons from the Negative Path. While it may seem counterintuitive, the existence of negative entities and their paths of service to self actually provides profound spiritual lessons for those on the positive path. The negative path, though built on separation and control, is not inherently evil. It serves as a teaching tool that helps us understand what not to be. It teaches us the value of unity, love, and compassion by providing a stark contrast. Without the existence of negative entities, we might never fully appreciate the importance of cooperation and selflessness in the process of spiritual evolution. By observing the destructive consequences of the negative path, we learn to strengthen our commitment to the positive path of service to others. Negative entities, while they may seem like embodiments of darkness, are ultimately just lost souls. They are not to be feared but understood. These beings are in pain, suffering from their own disconnection from unity and love. The deep isolation they experience is a form of spiritual torment, and their actions are driven by this wound. By viewing them with compassion, rather than hatred or fear, we diminish their power over us. Compassion neutralizes their influence, for it aligns us with the very principles they seek to destroy. When we act with compassion toward negative entities, we not only disempower them, but also assist in their healing, creating an opportunity for their eventual return to unity. The ultimate lesson of the negative path is understanding that both light and darkness are expressions of the Creator. The Creator experiences itself through all aspects of existence, including the separation and division that negative entities embody. As Ra explains, all entities, no matter how negative, will one day return to the Creator. This means that the darkest of souls are still expressions of the one infinite Creator, temporarily lost in their journey. The Creator experiences itself through both light and darkness, allowing all beings to learn from both extremes. The negative path is part of this cosmic dance, providing a contrast that helps all souls eventually return to unity. The presence of negative entities also teaches us valuable lessons about the importance of free will. Negative entities can only influence and manipulate those who allow themselves to be influenced. They cannot force their will upon others without consent. This reinforces the power of free will in shaping our spiritual destiny. Each person has the power to choose which path they walk, whether it is the path of service to others or service to self. The negative path, by its very nature, reinforces the importance of this freedom. It is through the exercise of free will that we discover our true nature and evolve spiritually, either toward unity or separation. In the end, the negative path serves a vital purpose in the grand design of the universe. It demonstrates the consequences of separation and the importance of returning to love. While negative entities may seem to stand in opposition to everything good, they are ultimately part of the Creator's plan for spiritual evolution. Their existence forces us to confront the deepest aspects of our own consciousness, teaching us the value of unity, compassion, and love. As we continue on our spiritual journey, we must remember that all paths, no matter how dark they may seem, ultimately lead back to the same source. It is through love and understanding that we can transcend the negative path and return to the light. Chapter 8. Final message from Ra. There is no true paradox. In the grand scheme of the universe, one of the most profound insights comes from Ra's explanation that there is no true paradox, no ultimate division between light and dark, good and evil. This is a concept that can be challenging to grasp, especially for those who see the universe as divided into opposing forces. The truth is, all things are part of the Creator's expression, and all paths, whether they are of light or darkness, are ultimately one and the same. This realization invites us to view both positive and negative entities not as opposites, but as different expressions of the one infinite Creator, each serving a unique purpose in the grand tapestry of cosmic evolution. Ra's response to the question, if both Ra, positive, and the demon, negative, are the Creator, isn't the Creator asking for opposite services? Sheds light on this concept. The answer is simple yet profound. You cannot serve anything but the Creator, for all is the Creator. The love sent is accepted or rejected as is appropriate for each path. This means that whether we are walking the path of light or darkness, we are still serving the Creator. Our choices, whether to align with unity or separation, are ultimately expressions of our free will. And through these choices, the Creator experiences itself. The notion of opposites disappears when we realize that all is interconnected, and every entity, regardless of its path, is a part of the same cosmic dance. This idea removes the concept of good and evil as moral absolutes. Instead, it frames them as necessary contrasts that help define the experience of spiritual evolution. Negative entities, while seemingly distant from the Creator's love, are still part of the Creator's expansive expression. They are not inherently bad or evil, but rather, they represent a part of the whole, an aspect of the Creator's journey of self-discovery. In this way, their existence is just as valuable as that of positive entities, as they provide essential contrast that helps to highlight the beauty and power of love, unity, and compassion. By recognizing that both paths ultimately lead to the Creator, we can release judgment and embrace the lessons both light and dark offer. The true lesson here is that the Creator is experiencing all things, both light and dark, unity and separation, as part of the universal process of self-awareness. The Creator does not demand a single path or outcome, but allows for free will to unfold in countless ways. Each being's journey, no matter how negative it may seem, is a part of the Creator's broader understanding of itself. This is where the concept of paradox falls away. There is no ultimate division, because all paths, all beings, and all choices are aspects of the same divine source. Love and light, though often seen as the good path, are simply the most harmonious paths, aligned with the natural flow of the Creator's will. Finally, Ra emphasizes that love remains the strongest force in the universe. Despite the existence of negative entities, spiritual entropy, and division, love is the constant that holds all things together. It is the force that ultimately neutralizes darkness, even as it allows darkness to exist for a time. The lesson from Ra is that while we may experience the contrast of light and dark, both are essential in the cosmic process of evolution. As we continue to evolve, it is important to remember that love, in all its forms, is the key to transcending division and returning to unity. There is no paradox in the universe, only the unfolding of the Creator's eternal journey. Conclusion: will you face negativity with fear, or will you choose love? So, how does this new understanding of light and dark change the way you see the universe? The true power lies not in fighting the darkness, but in embracing the unity that transcends both light and dark. Every path, whether of light or of darkness, is part of the Creator's grand journey of self-awareness. By understanding the nature of demons and their limitations, we can realize that the ultimate goal is not division, but unity. It's not about choosing between good and evil. It's about recognizing that both paths lead to the same source. The more we align with love, compassion, and understanding, the more we rise above the negative influences around us. Now that you know the truth about demons, how will you respond to the challenges in your own life? Will you face negativity with fear, or will you choose to send love, knowing that love is the most powerful force in the universe? This knowledge empowers you to take control of your spiritual path. You have the ability to disempower negativity, not by fighting it, but by embodying the very essence of love and light. So, take a moment to reflect on how you can apply this wisdom in your life today. If this video shifted your perspective and you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of spiritual evolution, make sure to hit that subscribe button and activate notifications. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and let's continue exploring the hidden truths of the universe together. Your journey is just beginning,